Recording in progress.
Reverend Dr. Stu Bittman is a published author, international public speaker, workshop leader, healer, life coach, and peaceful warrior. Coming from an eclectic and extensive background of healing and spiritual traditions, he has inspired people all over the world with his practical message of hope and healing. For over 30 years, he and his wife, Hillary, have lived their mission to awaken the awareness of oneness between the spiritual and the physical. They operated Safe Haven Chiropractic, a healing center in South Lake Tahoe, based on donations only for 24 years. Thousands of individuals and families were given the opportunity to embrace their gifts, pursue their dreams, and find the peace and wholeness that reside within all of us. The Bittmans are also ordained interfaith ministers and were the spiritual leaders at Unity at the Lake for 12 years until they retired in 2019. Stu and Hillary still travel the world teaching the principles of a spiritual and abundant life. And they have just returned from another trip in Europe. So Stu, now, finally. Sorry to push you through that.
Gosh. When that introduction started, I didn't have a beard, I think. Actually, I was born with this. So. Sorry. I've always been allergic to this podium, I think. Anyway, has anyone ever heard the saying that God comforts the afflicted and afflicts the comfortable? No? Oh, I don't think I made it up. So there I was, about 3 weeks ago, minding my own business, sitting at a seminar in Spain, and God decided to afflict my comfortable life. I got a very, very, very powerful and strong, clear message. 4 words. Go back into practice. Wow, I was right. It certainly took me by surprise. I assume my God self talking about chiropractic practice. I'm kind of just guessing there, but that seems right. I have not practiced for 17 years. I've certainly never expected to practice chiropractic again. But there you go. Yeah, wow. So I was sitting at the seminar and I was speaking the next day, and I decided to announce it. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I get messages like that and I talk myself out of them. And I didn't want to do that with this one, because the only other time I got such a clear verbal message was, I think, 2005. And we were at a going away party for the then minister here, Denise Schalink, and I got a message, you're going to be the next minister. Wasn't exactly right about that, but I was the second to next minister. And I kind of did the same thing then. It was like, who, me? Do I have to go back to school for that? So this time I had a lot of yeah buts. I said, I'm going to be 70 years old this year. I haven't practiced. I don't have a license. That's a bit of a detail. It's certainly not that can be fixed. Or maybe I just won't get a license. Anyway, now that I've announced it here, maybe I should. I don't know where this is going to be. I don't know how it's going to look yet, but it was pretty exciting and pretty shocking and pretty disturbing. So I actually did announce it the next day during my talk, and I got a standing ovation from the crowd. And my comment was, I think you're a lot happier about it than I am at this point. Then I burned the rest of the bridges and put it out on Facebook. And even though I thought I was being pretty clear about not knowing where this was going to happen, I got a lot of Tahoe people very excited. So we'll see. It could be here. So I thought about this. It seemed rather random, but then I realized that I had been asking. I had been praying for something. I knew there was something waiting to be birthed through me still. I knew there were things that I still had to contribute to chiropractic, to the world, to the community. And so here's a possibility. And then I also been asking since COVID, really, that I became a bit of a hermit. And I've been looking for ways to re-engage in the world and connect with people again. And Hillary and I have tried a lot of things, but it's not safe out here. The world seems awfully strange to me. And so all our attempts to re-engage have not been real successful. So this is like, wow, what a beautiful box ticker this is, because it's safer in my chiropractic office than out in the world. And for me, it's a beautiful way to connect with people and engage. So there you are. There's two things I wanted to share about this. First of all, and this shouldn't be news to Unity people, but it's really a good thing to open up to guidance from within. But be careful with what you ask for when you do that. But trusting in that wee small voice, the voice of our heart. And I'm really happy that I have trusted in that, and I have acted on most of the things I've gotten, especially in the last 10, 20 years. I can't imagine, or can't even begin to guess how many things I've talked myself out of along those lines. But see, it doesn't make sense to me to have a God self or a divine self, or in chiropractic we call it an innate intelligence. It doesn't really matter what you call it. That divine essence, it doesn't make sense to me to have that doing 200 octillion things in every second, keeping our bodies in balance, healing our bodies, recreating our bodies. You know, I don't know if you know this, but while you're sitting here, this intelligence, this power, is creating something like 2.5 million cells every minute in you from the Twinkies that you had for breakfast. You know, this is rather remarkable to me. That, according to Deepak Chopra, just so you'll believe me. Does everybody still know Deepak Chopra? Is he still around? He's become rather androgynous looking. Have you seen him lately? Anyway, that's what happens to us spiritual people, I guess. So he said that it takes 3 months for 98% of the atoms that comprise your physical body to be replaced. So I'm speaking about once every quarter now, so when I come back here in about 3 months, literally that means that 98% of the atoms you're looking at here, and hopefully listening to, won't be here anymore. And I will have gotten new atoms from the Twinkies and the Coca-Cola that I don't eat or drink, hopefully better things, and gotten rid of atoms in various ways. Isn't that remarkable? And then 3 months from now, I doubt that you will have much trouble recognizing me. Wow. And 3 months from now, just like now, I can bend over and my eyeballs don't fall out. I find this, so I could go on and on about the miracle of our divine self. And so does it make any sense that it can do all that and not let us know what we need, or not give us any guidance, or not be able to speak to us? Does that make sense to you? It was a very confusing question. I know you got the right answer. So so oftentimes for me, the answers or the guidance, the messages that I get seem to be like an accident. But I am convinced that we all can make ourselves more accident prone. By trusting, are we giving ourselves the space and time to even hear the wee small voice? And I don't know if you've noticed, but things have gotten rather loud in this world. And there's a lot of distractions, and there's a lot of information. Isn't there? There's an overwhelming amount of information. And I don't know why they call it information. It should be called outformation because it's coming from out there. I'm suggesting we might pay more attention to the information. And rather than being informed by the world, and I don't know about you, but when I allow myself to be informed by the world, I get stressed out. I feel overwhelmed. I go to all these places like I feel helpless. Like, what can I do? Anybody else? I don't react that way when I get messages from my heart. So again, I would rather be heart-formed than informed, or especially outformed. So are we giving ourselves the space, the time, the quiet? I hope so. You know, a unity obviously advocates, so is chiropractic, an inner-directed life, yes? So are we giving ourselves the space and time to be inner-directed, to be informed? Yeah. So if how many of you feel like you do get guidance from within? Well, that's wonderful. So it doesn't matter if you do or not. I don't know what I did with the other one. We'll find it later, probably. So I have some suggestions. If you'd like to be a little more heart-formed or a little more informed by your God self, the first thing that I think is required is asking. And I don't mean asking like begging. I don't believe there's a shipping and receiving department in the universe to which I can like ask for things and have them sent to me. It's just not my vision of how things work. It's like, and you've probably heard me, those of you who've been around have heard me say this before, but have you ever wanted to buy a certain kind of car? Have you ever decided to get a yellow Subaru? And before you have a chance to buy this car, what do you see all over the road? Oh, there's nothing but yellow Subarus out there. I don't even want this car anymore. Everybody's got it. Does everybody experience something like this? Now, my question is, did I attract those yellow Subarus onto the road that day? Or were they always there? And now I'm noticing them because it's my focus. My perception has changed. So it's the same thing. I ask you, what if instead of yellow Subarus, we were looking for more love or peace or abundance or joy? We tend to see what we're looking for. So when I say ask, I'm just saying see it. Claim it. If you're going to ask like your landlord asks you for the rent. I doubt no is one of the available options, right? That's what I'm talking about, asking. Asking clarifies what we want. And that's probably the most powerful thing about it, because a lot of the times I'm asking for everything but what I want. Anybody else? Through my terminology, when I talk to myself, when I visualize things, it's more about what I can't have. What I don't have enough of. So again, asking for me is simply aligning myself with that which I want and aligning myself with my God consciousness and then opening up to receive. And it works the same way with answers and guidance and stuff. And it's not like I ask and I always get an immediate answer. I mean, these are intentions I've been holding for years. I finally got my answer, and it shocked the heck out of me. Sometimes we'll get an answer, sometimes we'll get a feeling, sometimes we'll open up a book and we'll get our answer then. Has anybody experienced these things? So, start asking. Especially, if you're going to ask, make sure you are asking good questions. You know, because I spend a lot of my time asking questions like, why me? Or why not? Or why is this going on? Or why is the world the way it is? I'm not talking about those kind of questions. I'm talking about questions like one of my teachers used to have us, and I still do this. First thing in the morning, my first conscious thought is, God, what can I do today to open my heart a little more? What can I do today to serve a little more wholeheartedly, to be a little more abundant or joyous or loving or happy? And then I just open up, and a lot of times I will journal and my answer will come. The heart math stuff that Hillary and I have been into for a long time, just the heart-based meditations and stuff, I never do one of those without ending it by asking my heart to reveal something in that moment if it chooses to. So again, I'm just giving myself the opportunity to hear these things and to open up to them. Anybody doing this? Anybody might check this out? You can just humor me and say, yes, you will, okay. So again, are we making ourselves more accident prone? I hope so, because the second thing I wanted to talk about relative to my recent revelation is it is never too late. Again, as soon as I got this hit, a string of yeah buts started popping up into my head, and they were all about being too late, too old. And then I decided, well, what does that mean, too old? I don't think I'm too old. I think maybe I'm too comfortable. That's all. I feel good, man. People ask me how my hip is doing. It's the best part I have now. I still have a lot of energy. I still have a tremendous love for chiropractic and for people. It's never too late. It's never too late. And my faith in that idea is really helping me right now, because of late thoughts have popped into my head about being obsolete. It's a weird feeling. Hillary and I have been doing these events in Europe the last year or so. The numbers are down. A lot of our ventures, they haven't really worked out. We tried to do a meditation group here in Tahoe. It didn't fly. Every time I get on technology, I have incredible frustration and cluelessness. I mean, again, as I said, the world is very strange to me. And it seems to have passed me by. At least that's what my mind wants to tell me. And again, my spirit is so resoundingly saying, aren't you thankful I looked away when I did that? The microphone is too, yeah. I'm sure Carol's. Yeah. So instead of stewing on those thoughts, which, by the way, I made that expression up. So I know something about it. And so instead of, entertaining those thoughts or justifying those thoughts, I am questioning those thoughts. I am staying consistent with my values. I am continuing to grow in my ability to experience and express love. I am holding a vision that the biggest impact I have in this world has yet to be. And I'm doing what I can to be accident prone. Because, again, I can't believe I got this strong message and now it's going to leave me hanging. So I'm still awaiting word. But again, it's not too late. It's not too late for any of us to live the dream that we haven't allowed ourselves to live. It's not too late for any of us to heal relationships in our life. It's not too late for any of us to find out things that we don't know about yet, that nurture our soul, that make us feel alive. It's not too late to experience more love or joy. Isn't that good news? It is not too late to experience more peace of mind. It's not too late to have a more meaningful, fulfilling relationship with our divine self. And the way to move toward any of these things could come to us in the next breath. But have you noticed that those of you who have gotten messages like this, that they did not come announced? You didn't read about them in the paper beforehand. Oh, you better pay attention today. Big revelation coming. Are you with me here? So it behooves us perhaps to pay attention. It behooves us perhaps to open up space for these things to come. Because I imagine that being in our heart, being mindful, being present, are going to allow us maybe a better chance to be there when that revelation comes. Yeah. I just want to remind you that, sorry, I don't have to remind you. Kathleen already covered it. Whatever grandeur, whatever power, whatever beauty you see in this universe, you are that. You are that, and you are completely, you're not connected to that. You are that. If for you to be connected to that means you have to be separate. Now you are one in the Spirit, one with the Spirit. And again, for me, that means you have access. You are, as Emerson said, the inlet and can be the outlet of all there is in God. Yeah, breathe that in. And again, just one of the fruits of that, just one of the fruits of Spirit is to be guided from within. And the beautiful thing about being guided from within is nobody could take that away from you. Though I'm doing my best to take this latest revelation away from me, but it's not going to work. So, ask, and then look. Look for that which you want. Look for that which you most desire. It doesn't sound that awful, does it? No. Because how many of you saw that film of the basketball game and the gorilla? You've heard me talk about it, right? We're told this is just a pickup basketball game between a black-shirted team and a white-shirted team. And I don't remember the exact instructions. We're count the number of bounce passes that the white-shirted team makes. Okay, and then it's like a 2-minute clip. And the teacher then says, well, how many bounce passes? And we did this in one of my Unity ministry studies. 22 people in the class, 22 different answers. That was interesting. Then the teacher says, how many of you saw the gorilla? And we're like, gorilla? What are you talking about? And she shows the 2-minute clip again, and sure enough, there's a guy in a gorilla outfit. He's weaving his way through the game the whole time, the whole 2 minutes. He's not hiding. He's just, but he was away from the ball, right? So we're counting bounce passes. Not a single person in the class saw the gorilla. This was incredibly impactful to me. So again, instead of gorillas, what if we're looking for more love, peace, abundance, or joy? And we're so busy counting bounce passes, we're not going to see it. We're not going to hear it. We're not going to get the message. This is a dramatic example to me of what I'm talking about. Let's focus on that which we want. Let's ask for guidance on how to bring that about. And then keep our nose pointed in that direction. And my experience, it works out really well. I don't have to figure it out. You don't have to weigh pros and cons. That's being outformed. So I'm suggesting we can be more informed. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for a moment. And we'll just say, Spirit of love, thank you. Thank you for creating us. Thank you for recreating us. Thank you for keeping us and somehow this entire universe in an incredible state of balance, harmony. And we intend to mess with all that just a little bit less. Trust in it a little bit more. Open up the guidance on how to do that. And live the most beautiful, inner-directed life. Well, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. And maybe in 3 or 4 months when you do schedule a speaking event again, perhaps you can tell us where you